Ethereum's big upgrade. We are just days away from it, and if everything goes to plan, Ethereum will be changed for the better and forever. The upgrade is the London fork, and the countdown's ticking, getting closer with each passing second. So, are you ready to spend the next 600 of those seconds with me? Well, tick tock, it's time for Chico Crypto. Yeah, the countdown clocks are ticking and people are getting oh so ready for the day. There's even live watch parties already being set up on the tube. So what's the deal with this? Well, the Ethereum community in general is ecstatic about this upgrade because it brings in the long-awaited EIP Ethereum Improvement Proposal 1559. So today we're going to talk about this. What is EIP 1559? How is it going to affect Ethereum, the good and the bad? And which Ethereum altcoin projects are going to benefit from the change the most? So to begin, what is 1559? Well, this is a fee market change for Ethereum. This upgrade will change the first price auction fee mechanism to a new basic fee model. A basic explainer of the new model? Well, first we need to understand how the old model works. In the current auction system, all Ethereum users are bidding, basically competing with each other to get their transactions included in the next block. If someone pays a higher gas price than you, they will be included before you. During periods of high demand, this bidding war can get very heated, and the amount a user needs to pay fluctuates significantly. Ethereum wallets and dApps, they try to analyze this demand and estimate the correct fees. But as Ethereum users know, this estimation is sometimes so wrong. This leads to confirmation times for transactions sometimes being as long as 12 hours or more. However, even the long wait time doesn't guarantee that your transaction will be contained in a block. Sometimes the transactions get stuck and basic users, they don't know how to fix it. Basically, this is not user-friendly at all, especially for the newbies, and it's forcing users to pay higher fees than they should be paying. So with this model, it's the Ethereum users that suffer while the Ethereum miners are the ones making out like bandits. EIP 1559 fixes this by putting the users first, not those stinky miners. So with the old model, the transaction fees we talked about above, 100% went to the miners, plus the block reward for mining and securing the network. With the new model, the miners still get their block reward for mining and securing, but the transaction fee is changed. There is a base transaction fee that is always burned. A majority of the fee gets thrown into the ether, while an optional miner tip can be included. So let's break down these new fees, the base fee and that miner tip. This base fee is the mandatory fee, and it's algorithmically set by the protocol, and it fluctuates according to network congestion. The aim is to keep the network close to a 50% usage rate, meaning each confirmed block is 50% full. If the network usage exceeds 50% capacity, the base fee automatically increases. If network usage falls below 50% capacity, the base fee decreases slightly. This creates dynamic and adjustable block sizes that expand and contract depending on demand. Thus, this allows a predictable pricing mechanism that would allow transaction costs to be automatically set by wallet providers, which removes a majority of the fee responsibility from those users. Although if a user requires their transaction to be processed quickly, they can add a tip on top of the base fee, and that tip goes directly to the miners. Under the ideal conditions proposed by the EIP, there typically would be roughly 50% available block space that could be allocated to the transactions with tips, which means even a very small tip would be enough to guarantee that a transaction would be included in the next block. So now that we learned the basics of EIP 1559, what it is and what it does, let's learn about the good overall benefits. Since Ether is going to be getting burned and destroyed forever on a regular basis, Ethereum's going to set itself fully apart from the infinite dollar and even apart from the disinflationary Bitcoin. Ethereum will eventually become a deflationary currency. The supply will start to actually decrease as time goes on. So in a couple days, does Ethereum become that deflationary currency? No, not exactly just yet. We have to get to the merge, the switch to proof of stake, before that actually happens. There's a nice website, ultrasound.money, which has a project the supply tool, where you can play with the parameters to see when Ethereum does become deflationary. As we can see through the London burn, Ethereum is still inflationary, and it levels off into the merge and move into proof of stake. We have to adjust the base fee gas price higher to get it to be deflationary. The more the network is being used, aka the higher the base fees, aka higher burn numbers, is when it starts becoming deflationary. So deflation only happens post-merge and into proof of stake, and only if the network is being heavily utilized and the burn is greater than the staking issuance. And that is very likely Ethereum getting used. Activity on Ethereum is only going to heat up further as more assets get put onto the chain. Domain names, art NFTs, gaming items, real world assets, dApps integrating all these items. The list goes on and on. I, for one, believe shortly after the merge, due to the intense activity on the chain, Ethereum will go deflationary. So turning Ether deflationary into the most ultrasound money this world has ever seen is the big benefit of implementing the burn in EIP 1559. But what about this upgrade could be bad for the network? Well, the Ether miners, the backbone of the network, which has kept it secure since its launch, are having their revenues slashed. And remember, a large majority of the mining pools have publicly stated that they are against the EIP, joining the public call out of it back in February of this year, with the website stopeip1559.org. Basically, half the mining pools aren't happy about it. So number one, we could see a migration of hash power post EIP 1559. If a miner isn't happy about the revenues they are getting on Ethereum, they do have options, they have a choice. They can take their hashing power and mine someplace else, like the easiest place, which would require the least amount of switching work, Ethereum Classic, as this is a fork of the Ethereum chain and some consider it the true chain. But looking at its profitability, mining on Ethereum is twice as profitable as mining on Ethereum Classic right now. So the question is, post EIP, what is the profitability going to look like, Ethereum versus Ethereum Classic? If they're getting close to equal, it just might be in the miners' best interest to make Classic their new home. So are miners planning to make the switch? Well, a major Ethereum infrastructure company working on the merge actually, Nethermind, tweeted about this just last week and said, "It's no secret that many mining pools haven't been fans of EIP 1559, primarily the fee burning aspect to it. But how will EIP 1559 affect MEV, another large source of revenue for miners?" A quick thread. They continue. One of the changes that will occur is that miner revenues will fall as a result of this change, part of why they oppose the change. Luckily, a simplistic analysis indicates that the majority of the hash power, 98%, will stay with ETH despite the EIP. So how do they make up for that lost revenue? We explored two potential ways: extracting more MEV and artificially limiting block sizes. So according to Nethermind, 98% of the Ethereum hash power is staying post-merge. Only 2% is projected to leave to other places like Classic. But the miners are gonna start playing some games. Like number one, extracting more MEV, aka extracting value from Ethereum users by front-running their transactions. And number two, artificially limiting the block sizes, aka miners could coordinate to keep the block sizes to the point where the base fee is 0, forcing users to pay high miner tips to the miners, undermining the benefits of the EIP. So first we have to talk about MEV, the miners extracting value from the users to make up for the lower protocol revenues. Since this data point has started being tracked by Flashbots, over 687 million has been taken from users in under 2 years. Like Nethermind said, this is going to increase post EIP as miners are going to ever be looking for MEV opportunities. And you can actually see how much of this MEV is coming from you using a tool like Sandwiched.WTF, which shows you the transactions of yours from DEXs that had MEV extracted from them. One of my addresses had to pay 2.69 Ethereum extra to the miners just through my DEX trades. So how much have you lost? Well, if you want to check, a link for that tool is below in the description. But remember, I said there could be some altcoins getting looks due to this EIP and Ethereum upgrade, and it comes down to MEV. It's the altcoins focusing on solving and providing solutions to the MEV crisis, as MEV problems are going to rapidly increase post EIP, and even with the merge. MEV isn't going away with the miners going away, it will just transfer from the miners to the proof of stake validators. Now, the creators of that MEV sandwich tool is Alchemist Coin. They also created MistX, the exchange that protects you from MEV getting extracted through DEX trades. Everyone should know they are my #1 horse in this MEV race. But if you didn't, why are they? Well, Flashbots is the #1 research entity in the space for MEV, and the Ghost Up is a known member of Flashbots, high up there. And he's also the creator and leader of Alchemist Coin. They have the close connections to Flashbots, the Ghost Up and Alchemist like no other entity in the space. And there's even promotional material for MistX that says it's powered by Flashbots. Other Flash DEXs in the space, they don't get that honor. Although there are other entities working on MEV too. Gnosis and Balancer are collaborating to create their own MEV-based products, including their own Flash DEX called CowSwap. And there's also Archer DAO, and even Keeper DAO Rook working on MEV solutions of their own. This isn't a bad thing for Alchemist Coin though. Competition breeds innovation, and to solve MEV, we need quick innovation, as the extractors aren't going to slow down. Cheers, I'll see you next time.